We'll take this down first. Confuse your own views with those of the organization's members. This was specifically taken because some CSOs in the Balkans, although they try to make some points, sometimes their own reflections, they had problem within their organization. This is one of the most serious mistakes lobbyists make. A lobbyist's role, particularly when it comes to discussion with politicians, it is to act on behalf of the organization's members and not to present her own views, even if she believes they are the most beneficial for the organization. Lobbyists should remember that as an expert in a given area, he or she will always be responsible for fulfilling tasks set by members of the organization. So, no personal views when doing lobbying. How to influence, the next page, how to influence legislation. It's a very good story also, it's in Poland. Our colleague informed us about this in July 2005. So we'll take some, because it's a lot of information on this material, we'll try to take some of the extract, some of the information that we might use in our public, in our lobbying campaigns. First, regularly monitor the relevant official sources about upcoming legislation. So, I would like just to mention, did you hear about 3 P's in lobbying? What that means? 3P. P, people. Another P is procedures. And 3, processes. One without another, it can affect the lobbying campaign. Procedures. We might know, so the first one is relating to procedures. If we know the people, so what we mean by people? People who are directly, decision makers. What decision maker? At what level? What do they stand for? How they can influence? So we might know the procedures, we might know the processes, but we don't direct that to certain people who could affect decision making. So still, we might know the people, we might know the processes, but procedures, regularly monitor the relevant official sources about upcoming legislation. We might be in conflict with the legislation. So processes, procedures as well. So procedures are more that documentation that are in local and central level. Second, rely on private connections. So lobbying is not just the formal part. Lobbying is in the whole way as well. And lobbying comes from United States and United Kingdom, but especially United States is very effective, where lobbying is, most of the part is done by outside the office. Well, on the level of lobbying is let's say, I believe this was done because of previous government, because lobbying was so directed, so much it influenced the politics that it was necessary to limit a little bit. So always, I mean, you cannot ban lobbying. It's impossible. In all levels of institutions, lobbying is effective. You cannot stop people coming out the door. So that's a burden, well, bureaucracy burden that cannot be done anyway, because people will find ways. But the thing is that how to channel our efforts. We will take into consideration some factors that are really effective. Otherwise, we don't want to compromise our approach. And the third, legislative systems have various access points for interested stakeholders. There are subcommittees, committees, public hearings, forums to present individual opinions, individual opinions, etc. Different approaches, different stakeholders, sometimes international pressure, as it was discussed before, sometimes just local, sometimes just coming from citizens, sometimes agenda exists, so we just become a part of it. So different level of influence in legislation, let's say. At the end part of evaluation campaign is kind of, we would like to, of course, evaluate this, how much successful we were on a campaign, of course. Always it's necessary to do some kind of evaluation so that we will see how effective we were. And this is very important also for upcoming campaigns, if necessary, for lobbying. So we will lessons learned from before. So once a campaign has been concluded, so this is the last page, the lobbyist must undertake several measures irrespective of its outcome. Inform members of the organization and coalition about the outcome of the campaign. Special thanks should go to deputies, officials, and all supporters of their backing. So it's always to be thankful to the people, of course, who helped us, so that we would maybe I would not use maybe the term use, but we will cooperate with them, with the public, with politicians, officials, administrative officials who may be a part, who could play a role in different levels in their organizations, institutions, governmental. Since lobbying is a collective effort, a short description of the critical phases and partial successes and failures during the course of the campaign will be useful to all participants. Prepare a short report for the management of the organization or coalition and file it with other related documents. This should lead to, in turn, to developing a list of activities worth conducting in the future. So we would say this lessons learned from the lobbying. Separately record how individual decision makers decided, those who strongly backed their position and those strongly against it. The lobbyists should also describe the degree of support and participation in joint efforts of outside organizations, deputies, officials, experts, and leaders supporting the coalition. This will help avoid disillusions in the future and possible failures as well, since the strength and influence of a lobbyist depends upon the strength of the support they receive. This list of contacts and their description is one of the most valuable things a lobbyist has. It is the main tool of their work. So from any campaign we could learn so that we will know where officials stand, positive, negative, who have more influence, who want in any case discuss with us, and we will learn. So for upcoming campaigns we will know more or less our approach, where it will stand. Well, thank you for having time. Maybe it was a bit tiring to take the information, but as well for each of you. Now I will leave to upcoming.